a little bear that's holding guilt. And guilt.
Not guilt.
Although with you
And we
and
have trinkets. And if you have any questions about any of these things, please talk to Annie, because right now, she is the one we always point to, because her parents were Jewish when she was being raised. So we want her to know that she's in charge, really. Just ask her, Annie, are you in charge? She'll say yes.
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 And she's going to do the baruch for us. Baruch.
Baruch.
One more time. She's going to tell you what she's going to do for you.
Yes, so you want me to go back and do the baruch first?
Yes, we
Okay.
can do it,
All right.
please. And so you might want to, she's going to, and when you light a candle, why do you light a candle, Annie?
So we light the candles, and actually today's the first day, and normally there would just be a center candle and one candle to light. But the reason for lighting the candles is because when the Jews were fighting, the Maccabees, they were fighting to have the freedom to be able to worship in their own temple. And they were fighting with the Greeks, and they got locked into their temple, and they only had enough oil to last one day. And the oil miraculously lasted an entire 8 days. And what that means is that, they were able to survive, they were able to conquer, and they were able to come forward and have the freedom to worship the way that we choose to worship. And that's the thing that I love, is that here, at least in the USA, we are free to worship any way that we choose. And the reason why we sang the song Light Up the Night was because in Beat Back the Shadows, we are lighting up ourselves. We are lighting up our own energies. And Hanukkah is not about getting gifts every night. That's actually Christmas that brought that tradition to Hanukkah. The gifts are something that you give to yourself. Your health, your love, your own beauty of life. And always light up your light. So I'm going to do the baracha, and I'm going to go back to the back of the room to do that, because you light the candles when you do the baracha. And I'm going to light all 8 candles, and Zeke, I'm going to leave you in charge of making sure they don't fall over. Okay, thanks.
So if you want to stand and watch what she's doing, I would love to have you join in the energy. Stand on the riser.
Susan?
So the reason why there's 9 candles is the middle candle is called the shamus. And the shamus represents the 1 day's oil. Okay? And so it stands in the center, but actually we're going to light for 8 nights. Right? And you always light from right to left, because Hebrew is read from right to left. So I'm going to quickly light all candles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Hanukkah. What that means is, blessed O Lord, our God, King of the universe, and has granted us the joy of lighting the lights of Hanukkah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as Annie was talking, Reverend Ann was talking about the gifts that we receive, I decided, what are the spiritual gifts for the holidays that we get? And so where do you go when you're trying to find out something these days?
Google.
And found out that the Bible talks about spiritual gifts. And the first one, and this was in Romans 12, are prophesizing. This is considered a spiritual gift. And how many of you in here are intuitive, psychic, or do prophesizings? Yeah. And did you know that that was mentioned as one of them? And the other one is not only prophesying, but it means to speak forth or to declare the divine will, to interpret the purpose of God. Doesn't that sound like a great way to describe what people do in this church? I love that. Or to make known in any way the truth of God, which is designed to influence people. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting when we talk about the counseling, the channeling we do. The other gift, the other spiritual gift is serving. It is referred to as ministering. And it's the Greek word diakonian, from which we get the English translation of deacon. Means service of any kind, the broad application of practical help to those in need. The other spiritual gift is teaching. And this gift involves the analysis and proclamation of the Word of God, explaining the meaning, context, and application to the hearer's life. The gifted teacher is one who has a unique ability to clearly instruct and communicate knowledge, specifically doctrines of their faith. Not the faith, but their faith. Giving. Giving is another spiritual gift. Gifted givers are those who joyfully share what they have with others, so whether there's financial, material, or the giving of personal time and attention. The giver is concerned for the needs of others and seeks opportunities to share goods, money, and time with them as needs arise. Mercy. The gift of mercy is obvious in those who are compassionate toward others who are in distress, showing sympathy and sensitivity coupled with the desire and the resources to lessen their suffering in a kind and cheerful manner. Romans 12. So then I went on and found out, well, what else? And in Corinthians, it says faith. All believers possess faith in some measure because one of the gifts of the Spirit bestowed on us all. The spiritual gift of faith is exhibited by one with a strong and unshakable confidence in God. Word promises in the power of prayer to effect miracles, healing, miraculous powers, prophecy, and distinguishing between different spirits. I think that pretty much talks about what UCL and CCL are all about. And so then I started looking at different areas to see what else was talked about. And I realized that when I went to the Torah to look at what is Hanukkah, Hanukkah was started being celebrated after the Torah was written. That was written 3,000 years ago. And this is how long that we have been doing all the things that were written about in the Bible. The Old Testament talks about the same things as some of the New Testaments that I was talking about. But in every faith I checked up, I went into Islamic faith, and it talks about the spiritual gifts that we have. I went into Zoroastrian, and it talks about the spiritual gifts we have. Hindu, all of the great faiths talk about our spiritual gifts. And it dawned on me that when we talk about gifts at the holiday season, these are the gifts they're talking about. You know, it's not a new Audi, although that would be nice, but it's it's the spiritual gifts. And I decided that is one of those things that I like about the holiday, is it brings out the spirituality in people. Whether you're helping your kids, whether you're helping your parents, whether you're baking cookies for family and friends, whatever you're doing, you're taking that part of your spirituality and putting it into the love, the attention, the healing, the giving. We have, as our wonderful Reverend Janet knows, she's an executive director at the Center for Living with Dying, is that there's a lot of sadness during this period of time. A lot of people who've gone through loss and are grieving. And so what is your spiritual gift to them? Ministering, teaching, talking, giving. When I was talking, Ronnie, were you talking about, who was talking to me earlier today about the person who just lost their husband? Yeah, I thought it was Ronnie. What was that about? Can you share that with us?
I'm an employee at Levi Stadium. And I was talking to a woman last night that I hadn't seen in a while, one of my fellow employees, and she was smiling and such good spirit. And I asked her, well, how was your holiday? She says, well, my holiday was great. She says, my husband passed in the holiday. And she had an extra glow on her face. And I went home kind of puzzled because that is the attitude that you get from most people who have lost a loved one. But she had been married to her husband for over 40 years, and and she says it was just his time to go, you know, and it just totally amazed me.
Yeah, yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
That energy of people who say, yes, God's there, or this person is going to be, you know, doing what they need to do. And I think that's as what Janet does, is being there with people and helping people and working with all sorts of organizations that not only support you during the time that your loved one has passed, but they also help you if you're going through a difficult time yourself. So try and make it on Wednesday to the Light of Lights, where you get to light a candle for somebody who has passed. And it really helps bring you forward into the spiritualness and the spiritual energy of the holidays. The other thing that I want to talk about, the spiritual gifts, are I have so many people who say, I don't know what to get for so-and-so. And I said, what are you thinking about when you think of them? Write them a note and tell them what you think about when you think about them. And if you want to, you can frame it. I did that one year. Gave everybody a note of what I thought about them and framed it. And I have people that tell me they still have that, you know? And so you think of that. That's not saying, oh, look at me and how great I am. This is how my heart touches your heart. And this is how spiritually I want you to be feeling during the holiday season. So from my heart to your heart, I want you to feel good about who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, and how you can minister, support, help other people along their path.
And expect miracles.
And expect
Yes.
miracles.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And our next miracle is our choir's going to sing again.
Yay.